Good morning. Today is Saturday, March 24th. I got a late start. I had planned to be here at first light. It is 8:30. I'm seeing tons of white bass, and I think I saw a striped bass. I'm seeing action on the water. I'm trying to get them to bite. Cue the theme music. Let's get into today. All right, good morning. Just getting this thing untangled, but I'm going to start off with the Texas rigged brush hog. As I was getting on the water, we saw some bass shallow, and when I say we, other people who were getting on the water were looking around the boat ramp. I should have just stayed there and fished, but there was quite a few people getting on the water, so I figure I'll go hit up that later, or that's also a good indication that, you know, these bass could be shallow. So I'm over here. It's the cove right off of the 4-lane boat ramp, and I'm searching to see if there's shallow bass. I'm just gonna follow the shore closely. These damn white bass are everywhere. That was a big largemouth bass. I just passed by a nice big largemouth over here. So I'm going to cast it out and just let it sit. I got it pretty close to the shore, so I'm pretty sure it's on the bottom by now. It's a decent heavy weight. So it should get to the bottom pretty quick, especially since I'm only in 12 feet of water. And where I'm casting is probably like 3 feet of water. Yes, I'm on. I hope I got that largie. Oh, it came off. It came off. Actually, maybe I was just caught on the rocks. I think I was just caught on the rocks and I was pulling the boat towards it. I'm an idiot. Yeah, now I got one. Got one for sure, yes. Look at that guy. I don't know if you guys can see it. There's white bass down there chasing him too. Boat flip them. All right, this feels good, man. It's been a while since I've caught a fish. Yeah. I played that perfect too. Played that perfect. All right, let's get a measurement on this beast and then put him back in the water. Alright, finally a fish. So he is 13.5 inches. Oh, he's got some nice sharp teeth. Nice Lake Pleasant bass. Good to see a healthy population out here, or a healthy one for the population. Let's get him on the release. Woo! Yes! That felt good too, man. I was working that like a jig. It's a jig head, and I set the hook. It just felt good to fill one on after setting the hook like that. Woo! Yes! Okay, I think there's a bed right here, and I think I caught the male. I think the female is back over here. I want to try to get her. She was that nice sized bass that I saw. All right, let's move on. Let's see if we can go find more shallow bass. All right, it is now 10:30. And I've had one catch, so that's one catch for 2 hours of fishing. I didn't fish last weekend, but I will fish both days this weekend and continue on weekends following, even though next weekend, it's Easter weekend, but I should be able to get out both days. One other thing I wanted to talk about was the lemons for leukemia. I had said in the video, you know, go out and donate bone marrow. Well, I looked into it, and it's actually it's a surgical procedure where they extract bone marrow out of your pelvis, and I believe the minimum recovery time is like 20 days. So it's a pretty abrasive procedure, and it puts you out of commission for a few days. So it's not that easy, but I think the Lemons for Leukemia is telling you to register to see if you're the right type of donor, and then if you can possibly save someone's life, then you can consider going through that procedure and having an extraction of bone marrow and donating it. But I just wanted to correct my mistake One other thing I wanted to say was a shout out to JT Healy. I had shouted him out in the Lemons Freely community video. He actually went and did one. He saw the comment or the description, and his is hilarious, man. I like that guy's channel a lot. It's not fishing, but it's great content material. He really composes his videos very well. I don't know if composing is the right word. He puts them together, and I really enjoy his content, really enjoy watching his stuff. He lives in Arizona, so I like to see the different places. And most of his videos aren't even in Arizona, they're in other areas. He likes to travel a lot. Really cool guy. I suggest you go check out his channel, and let's get back to some fishing. Let's see if I can catch some fish. All right, what I'm dealing with here is a pretty largemouth bass. That's funny to say that. And a small largemouth bass. I think they're bedding over here. I'm gonna try to get them to bite this. There's a lot of these white bass around, and what I'm using here with this jig head with the paddle tail, it kind of imitates those white bass. And hopefully those white bass are pissing off this largemouth bass as they're trying to bed over here. And I want to try to get a bite. Would love to snag one of those stupid white bass and find out if they really are white bass or what the hell they are. It's another species or what. Dang it, where'd that bass go? There was two of them over here too. It's a big largemouth and a small largemouth. They're getting ready to beast. Oh, here it is. Here's the beast. Here's the beast largemouth. Let's see if I can get this jig on its bed and piss it off. There's a small largies down there. And fast forward to now. I am back home. I am in my low light dim garage. Sorry for the lighting. I had to wrap up the video. It got kind of windy as I was getting off the water. I actually saw Bass Ranger's outdoor as I was getting off the water. He was going on. Hopefully he had better luck than I did today. I will meet up with him again and we will collab. I'll link his channel in the description below along with JT Healy's. Go check out those YouTubers' channels. They're great. Alright, so on to what I used today. I used a ton of different lures because I thought they were white bass, but I think they were some type of carp. They weren't brown like carp, but when I got a closer look, they didn't have stripes like white bass. And it looked like they had, like their mouths were a little bit lower, like a carp's mouth. But let me show you everything that I threw today because it was a ton of different lures. Alright, this is what caught me a bass. It's a jig head, Gamakatsu jig head with a shad imitation paddle tail. This jig head has so many different purposes and it's great to just throw any type of soft plastic on. It has great action in the water. You can jig it, pop it, retrieve it with the slow retrieve, and it nails bass. It's an amazing lure or amazing jig head. This is the bed killer. I got one of the bass that I was trying to catch. It was on a bed. It was a small bass. I think he was too small. He could only get about half the tail in his mouth. He was definitely biting at it, but I didn't get a hookup with him. But that definitely has caught me multiple bass off of beds. I threw this jerkbait for a little bit. I did have those fish that I thought were white bass chasing it. They followed it, but no hookups. I also threw the drop shot with this color of worm. I don't know what color it is, but it looks damn good in the water. Other lures that I threw the infamous clown colored jerkbait. Had followers, and it was those fish that I can't quite make out what the heck they were, but they were all over Lake Pleasant. I threw this to begin with. It was a Texas rig brush hog, and those fish were in every spot that I went to out in Lake Pleasant. I threw a spinnerbait to see if maybe they were white bass and they wanted something more flashy. Excuse me, my throat's getting dry. So once I saw that they were chasing the flashy stuff, they really followed the flashy stuff. I started throwing a Castmaster, but then got distracted because I saw a bass on a bed, and that's when I started throwing the paddle tail swim bait. But I also threw a square bill crankbait, lipless crankbait, and a shad imitation jerkbait. All those lures were getting those followers, those perceivably white bass, or potentially white bass. I don't think they were white bass. I think they were some type of carp, maybe buffalo, I'm not sure. They were all over the lake. So if anyone has been out to Lake Pleasant recently and has seen these fish, there's schools of them. And they were at every part of the lake I went to, and I went to a pretty good, about half of the lake. They were there. So if anybody knows, please put in the comments below. Today is Saturday, March 24th. I fished. I will be out fishing again Sunday tomorrow. Look forward to my next episode. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I fish every weekend and film like I did just today. Catch you later.